Hello everyone, my name is Colleen Murphy, and today I'm going to be presenting based off the topic in question, is the 21st century skills movement viable? So just an agenda on my presentation and the different ideas I'll be overviewing is first there will be a warm-up activity, an overview, then we'll go over the pros side of this argument, the cons, and I'll also have a lesson demonstration, and then finally a discussion activity that we'll be able to go over as well. So before to get things started, I will include in my presentation packet a link to a Google Doc with just one question: how would you define a 21st century skill? I really picked this warm-up activity because I feel that you can begin by brainstorming and activating prior knowledge to the topic. This is something that we can do for this presentation, and if this were to be something you would teach students, maybe if you have high school or even middle school, upper middle school students, you could do this warm-up with them as well and just see if they have any prior knowledge about it, and what they think a 21st century skill would be, just to be able to get that conversation going before you actually learn about it. So you can even think of it as like a pre-test as well. Yeah. So first, to start us off, we can go over what is the 21st century skills movement. So what it is, it's the merging of 21st century skills into everyday curriculum. And it's basically built on the idea that the education is skills that are believed to be necessary to succeed in the 21st century. So there are several skills that are believed to be needed in the 21st century in order to obtain a job. Several of these skills include communication, critical thinking, digital literacy, and all those things to stay up to date. And it is believed that our current curriculums in schools are not up to that standard, and they are not teaching what students need once they leave school. And it's also different depending on where students are receiving education, because as we all know, public education is not the same wherever you go. It is different funding, different curriculums, and it is not the same quality as well wherever you go. So it's this idea that everyone should be receiving these 21st century skills and they should be taught the appropriate way as well. So before we get into more detail about that, I have a TED Talk video about a woman's personal experience with 21st century skills and how she was able to learn that she didn't have a lot of the skills that she needed to be successful in the work environment in the 21st century.
You seek the key, but you must first learn the discipline. Unlock the energy within.
Hi everyone. Have you ever wondered what it would be like if the school system was completely different and didn't emphasize memorization? What if each student went to school every morning, they had lessons that were fun and interactive for everyone, and they went home satisfied with the day, but also filled with new ideas? Well, is that even a possibility, and how can we make that a reality? Since I was a child, I have always been a grade A student, and my parents were also the best students in their class. Because of this, I was raised to believe that without the knowledge given at school, you could not become successful. Well, as I grew up, I realized that this was completely false. With the help of the internet, I found out that actually most people who were extremely wealthy didn't even go to university. Some even dropped out of school. Then I discovered that some 16-year-olds were becoming millionaires. And after this, I realized that the subjects we study at school may not be as important as I had thought. As life went on and I went through different life experiences, I realized what skills are actually crucial, and I tried to attain them in any way that I could. The first time I had to do a public speech was for a small event. It was unplanned and completely spontaneous, so I wasn't ready for it. I was very nervous, and because of this, my face started getting redder and redder. As time went on, I got even more nervous, and people could notice it. But the worst part was that it was all being recorded to later be shown to a larger audience. At first, I was very embarrassed and frustrated with myself. But instead of deciding that public speaking wasn't for me, I decided to try as hard as I could to overcome this anxiety my mind went through anytime I had to perform in front of a crowd. I made this decision because I understood that if I didn't acquire this skill now, I could miss a lot of opportunities in the future that would actually benefit my career. In school, it is common for teachers to give out group assignments. As a youngster, having to complete a group project meant that I had to do all the work by myself. No other group member wanted to participate in the completion of the group assignment. At first, I was upset by this, but as time went on, I got used to this, and I started loving doing such projects by myself. Usually, if I had to work in a team, I let every other member know that I didn't need their help and I could do everything by myself. This was because I had high standards, and I thought other team members would only make the project worse. But over time, I realized that a single person can't do everything. And if the person is ambitious and wants to do well in life, they have to learn how to work in a team, understand the strengths of the team members, and assign tasks according to that. As a preteen, I also used to believe any information which was given to me. This led to many realizations later on in life that what I have believed for such a long time was completely made up. I think critical thinking is the skill most people lack in my country. Everyone likes to gossip and share certain information that may not be true, but others still believe it. I understood that we had this problem, and I wanted to make myself different from this group of people and not believe any information that was given to me by my friends, family, or even the media. Now, when I hear any information, I try to research the subject in order to evaluate the source, draw reasonable conclusions from it, and understand what the actual truth is. I think this skill has helped develop my personality immensely. I have learned how to be an independent thinker and not to believe others easily. And to me, this skill is the most valuable because I believe that those who have this skill developed are the most interesting and intellectual people to talk to. The reason why I shared my life experiences with you is because I wanted to get a point across that students have a hard time understanding all the abilities that are needed in the modern world and meanwhile trying to develop these skills. I think in order to solve these problems, schools should try to introduce special lessons where pupils are taught things that will actually help them achieve their goals in the future. For example, the art of body language and how to use it during public speech. If I were taught this at school, my speeches would have been much nicer and I wouldn't have to learn this by myself. More topics could include how to overcome our insecurities, how to be creative and create projects, and overall, how to position ourselves in the modern world. I think if schools were to actually introduce such lessons, it would lead to students being more interested in developing themselves and their skills. And it would also create sensible people ready to work hard in order to leave a mark on this world. So, the main question we should all ask ourselves is, at the end of the day, what is more important? Solving a math equation that you may never use again. Or, if you like maths, learning a date of a historical event that you will also forget, or actually learning the skills that are beneficial and will help you achieve success in any career and get you ready for a global stage. Through my experiences that I've shared with you, I wanted to show you how important these skills are, and while I'm still trying to develop them, you should join me so that we can develop and become the best version of ourselves.
So the reason that I chose this video to be included is I really liked that it was a personal experience from somebody who went to school and then entered the 21st century work firm and found that they didn't have a lot of those skills that they needed, such as critical thinking and public speaking and collaboration with other people as well. I feel like there's a lot of research out there about people who haven't had that personal experience. They haven't been to school and then seen the direct implications of not having those 21st century skills. Whereas this woman did do that, and she was able to lately, it was late, but she was able to develop those skills on her own. So that was just kind of a quick overview and a little story about the 21st century skills movement. So now I'm going to get into an article by Washington University in St. Louis, basically speaking about what is a 21st century skills movement again, and if those 21st century skills are essential. So overall through the article, it talked about the three big categories of 21st century skills, because there are a lot of them. There were over 50 skills listed, but the three biggest categories were life skills, digital literacy and information skills, as well as learning skills. And the life skills basically talked about just general things you needed throughout life to be a successful adult, which is a lot of things that we hear high school and upper middle school students talking about. Is once they graduate high school, they wish they had learned certain skills about life. And that is a big thing that was included in this article, as well as digital information and literacy skills. We are living in an age now where technology is just booming, and everything, the newest thing is coming out so fast. And there are a lot of things that need to be caught up on once people leave school if they don't have access to all that new digital and technology. So that is also a big category of skills. And one story or anecdote from this article that I found really impressive was one of the authors talked about how there was a school, they went to visit a school, and the principal of the school said to students that they should never use PowerPoint because it makes them seem as though they were in the 90s. So I found this super interesting. This was actually from the con side of the article. So actually the opposite end, and it talked about how, you'll be viewed differently based on if you know those new technology platforms as well. And finally, the last category is learning skills. So just different skills that you need to learn, such as that critical thinking was a big one, and communication, and all those things that will help you. So based off those three categories, those are the biggest things that are seen that are needed to be successful in the 21st century. The article mentioned that it's a really competitive workplace, and it can be very hard to find a job. So if you don't have those skills, it makes it even harder to be able to obtain a job. Jobs are looking for people who can specifically do these skills and have experience with them. And in the article, they mentioned that it's very noticeable if an employer or an employee does not have those skills. So based off of this article by Washington University in St. Louis, they do believe that these skills are essential for people to survive in the workplace in the 21st century and to have a job and to continue on to those next stepping stones of life. This is also a image that was included in that article by Washington University. It's about the importance of 21st century skills. There's global development, so just that globalization, technological development, and social diversification that are just those key processes of today. Innovative workplace, succeeding in modern jobs, and rapid technological progress, which I talked a bit about. Just how technology is always developing, and there's always new stuff coming out, and there's always a new thing to learn about it. So that is a very big, important part of those 21st century skills. So for the pros side of the 21st century skills movement, I developed 3 key questions. The first one is who has access to education that includes 21st century skills, kind of what I touched upon before. Learning those 21st century skills is different no matter where you go, because not everyone has the same education no matter where they go. So just thinking about who has access to those skills. how can we universally apply the teaching of 21st century skills? So kind of connecting back to that first question, how can we make sure that everybody has access to that? And finally, what do we need to do to ensure the 21st century skills movement is effective? One big part of the pros side of the 21st century skill movement is that it has to be done the correct way for it to be effective, and it cannot have any cut corners. It really needs to be laid out in a professional and really thought out way so that it works. So now leading us into the biggest points of the pro side, the first one was the biggest one that I noticed while reading the article. It's integrating 21st century skills with core subjects. So a lot of the concern on the con side was that the 21st century skills are replacing core subjects in curriculum. Whereas on the pro side, what they actually want to do is integrate those skills within those common core subjects, because those are still needed. They just also want to make room for those 21st century skills. The second point is incorporating better test curriculum and teaching to ensure success. This relates to that third question of how to make this effective. Throughout the article, it's stated that they need better tests to measure how the curriculum is working and measure how those 21st century skills are being taught. And the assessments and tests that we have now with students just are not effective, and they're not reliable. The next way to ensure success of the 21st century skills movement is curriculum. Basically, it was just saying that there needs to be a better and more reliable curriculum that really emphasizes those 21st century skills as well as those common core subjects. It can't just be one or two things a teacher does to teach those skills. It really needs to be a thought out curriculum that will help to promote it. And finally, also providing better training to teachers so that they are able to teach this, and giving teachers a living wage so that they can hire reliable and skilled teachers. So all those things put together are what would ensure the success of the 21st century skills movement. And that is a really big deal in the success of it. So if it's not incorporated with the better test curriculum teaching, and if all of those aren't included in the rollout of it, then it will not have successful results. And finally, relating to those first two questions, is access to quality instruction of 21st century skills for all. This is really important that not just some people get it. All students should be taught these 21st century skills so that they all have an equal chance, or they all are on the same playing field for being able to get a job in the 21st century. A lot of what we see is schools in underprivileged areas or schools that are near the low poverty areas. They do not receive as well of a curriculum or as many resources as more wealthy areas. And a real downfall of this could be that if those lower poverty areas are not receiving this education on 21st century skills, but the other areas are, then they're facing even another roadblock to obtaining a job in the 21st century. Next, we're moving into the con side of the 21st century skills movement. These are the risks that are seen with this movement and why it should not be enacted. The first one is, what is the benefit of the 21st skills movement in comparison to what is being lost? One of the biggest things I read in this article from the con side is that the 21st century skills may be gaining some things, but they are losing more in Common Core and the foundation of students learning than what they are gaining. The second question is, how can we provide stability if we are always trying to keep up with the newest curriculum? This is the part where I was talking about how the teacher had, or the principal had mentioned that if you use PowerPoint, you're seen as you still have content from the 90s, and how it's not a good look for you or your school. The way that they used that in the con side of the article was that it's not about how you have these skills or your performance. It's about the looks of it and the connotations that come with all this digital and technology curriculum. So they're saying, how can we teach critical thinking and how can we teach these skills if every year or every other year there's always a new curriculum or always a new thing to try or a new mode of learning? What they're trying to say is that there's always going to be new things, and it's virtually, in their words, impossible to keep up with everything that is coming out while also providing stability for students. And the third question is, what is the true purpose of education? This came up in the con side of the article where they mentioned that they wanted to know if are we just preparing them to work or are we teaching them to learn because learning is a good thing and it's important to be able to research new things. And so I formulated this question, what is the true purpose of education, for the con side of what is the goal of students going to school? Because if it was completely the goal to go to school is to learn to do a job, then, or it's completely for them just to learn, then schools would look a lot different. So what is the true purpose of education altogether, including all of these little bits and pieces? So the major points for the con side, and the author of the con side is Diana Senecal. So the first point that she made was that students need a foundation in educational content. They're not able to engage in these 21st century skills such as critical thinking and communication and all those if they don't have a foundation for those Common Core subjects. And they also need that foundation to be able to get a job one day as well. The second point is, if we shift our focus to 21st century skills and students are unable to master concepts. So their fear with this is that if we are just shifting to 21st century skills, once students have learned the basics, they're just moving on to 21st century skills and they're not able to take the time to really master those concepts and they're not able to engage in them further. And finally, unable to engage in critical thinking with curriculum. This idea is that if the curriculum is always changing and if it's always being put onto the new thing, then they're not really able to do any reflection or critical thinking with that curriculum because they're always just moving on to what's next and learning it. This was also made a point not just for students, but with teachers as well. They stated that teachers aren't able to reflect on their practice and they aren't able to kind of get in the groove with a curriculum because they're always just learning a new one and they're with one for 2 years and then they find a new one and they have to learn that. So they aren't able to master their own practice with that as well because they're having to learn something new again. And next I actually found a video from the Oxford Discover, and it's actually a sample lesson of them teaching 21st century skills through a lesson on English. So what this woman is doing essentially is she is helping promote students' English language while also teaching them communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking through a lesson on numbers.
Hi, my name is Kathleen Campa, and I'm the co-author of Oxford Discover. In today's lesson, the children are going to be learning about numbers and how numbers help us. So you'll be seeing them tuning into numbers, finding numbers all around them, and what we also want to learn about numbers. Today, we're going to be talking about numbers. Numbers. And I bet you know many things about numbers, but I want to start with using our fingers. Can you see my fingers? Yes. This is a gate. Gate. This is a gate. And maybe by this gate over here, it's a garden, and there are many flowers in the garden. Do you know what this is? A clock. When I wear this clock on my wrist, we call it a watch. A watch. A watch. So we're going to go like this. If I look and I say, and I'm worried, maybe I'm late. Late. So we're going to use our fingers like this. 2. Your turn. 2. 4. 6. 8. And then let's say hello. We say, meet me at the garden gate. Meet me at the garden gate. And if you want to make your gate big, or you want to make it little, meet me at the garden gate. Okay, from the beginning. 2, 4, 6, 8. Can you all show me your fingers? 8. Meet me at the garden gate. If I'm late, don't wait. Can you show me? If I'm late, don't wait. 2, 4, 6, 8. Good. I'm going to write this on the board for you. Let me erase my name. It looks like this. Oops. 2, 4, 6, 8. Meet me at the garden gate. If I'm late, don't wait. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, let's do it from the beginning. Put that there so it doesn't fall down. Are you ready? Are you ready? Here we go. 2, 4, 6, 8. Meet me at the garden gate. If I'm late, don't wait. 2, 4, 6, 8. Great. Okay, you are having partners. Can you stand up, Andrea and Mariana? Can you stand up over here? Can you make a gate together? Can you make the gate together? So, like open, gate, gate. And can you put your fingers together? So you have together 2, 4, 6, 8. Meet me at the garden gate. If I'm late, don't wait. Together. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, everybody stand up with your partner. Ready? Look at your partner. Show them your fingers. You have to work together. Together. Ready? Fingers. 2, 4, 6, 8. Meet me at the garden gate. Pretend. If I'm late, don't wait. 2, 4, 6, 8. All right, good job. We did it. We did it. We did it today. We did it. We did it. Hip, hip, hooray. Fantastic. Okay, have a seat, please. What's on my board? What are these? Numbers. Can you count with me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You are very good at counting. Is this easy for you? Yeah. Easy for you? Okay. So now I'm going to make it a little harder. I'm going to erase some numbers. 1, 2. I want to erase 2 more numbers. Which number should I erase? Which number? Number 4. I erased 4 and I erased 7. I want to erase 2 more. Arturo, which one should I erase? 9. They're not here. They're not here. So we're going to say shh, shh, shh. This sound looks like this. Shh. So when we count, instead of saying 4, we're going to go shh. Got it? Okay, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, we have too many here. Let's erase 3 more. 3 more. Okay, goodbye, 16. Now we say shh. Goodbye, 16. Diego? 20. Please erase. Please erase. 20. Okay, goodbye, 20. Now we say shh. Could you tell me the whole sentence? Please erase. What did you want to erase? Mirsha?
Erase
14. Whoa, goodbye, 14. Are you ready? Here we go. Remember, we're going to say shh. Here we go. Let me hear you. Go.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 10,
11.
13, 15, 17, 18, 19.
Wow, you did it. Okay, now here's our challenge. We're going to go around the room like this. Some people will have a number, and some people will have to say shh. So we'll start over here with Carol, and Carol will say 1, and then Carissa will say 2, and Andrea will say 3, but Mariana will say shh. Are you ready? Here we go.
1, 2, 3, 6, 7,
Oh, good job. You caught yourself.
10, 13, 13,
So we're here. This one. 15.
18, 19,
Oh, we should keep going.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, 11, 13.
Oh, with this one, right? 15. Oh, great job. We did it. We did it. We did it today. We did it. We did it. Hip, hip, hooray. Good. Listen to this one. Say 15.
15,
How about this one? 13.
13,
This one, 17.
7,
Okay, you got it.
So this article really just showed what a 21st century lesson would look like in a classroom with semi-younger students as well. And I also found that this was a really great example of showing how they're merging the content with the 21st century skills. And it's not just one or the other. They're able to do that cohabitantly together. So finally, what I have for my next activity is a discussion. So what I'm asking if you would like to participate in the discussion after my post is sharing what you wish or skills you wish you could teach your students. So if there are any 21st century skills you wish you would have learned in school, or 21st century skills that you would like to share with your students, and 21st century skills you wish you could have taught your students as well. And this is an activity that could also be done with older students as well after you complete a unit. If you ever did teach them about 21st century skills, you could ask them to share skills they wish they knew, or any skills that they wish they could have learned as well. So if you would like, you're more than welcome to share any 21st century skills you wish you would have learned, or skills that you wish you would be able to teach your students. Thank you guys so much for listening to my presentation, and that is all I have.